Hey guys, we're down here at the eGolf Megastore's Al Wassel branch, and we've got another club review for you today. Now, the club I'm holding in my hands is something a little bit special. It's not a driver, it's not a 3-wood, it's something in between. It is the TaylorMade 300 mini driver, and essentially it's a throwback. It's a throwback to the clubs that TaylorMade first brought out in the year 2000, the 300 series. It's 307cc head, this one. Compare that to the driver I've got in my bag, the TaylorMade Sim, which is 460. So it's much smaller, but what this does is, with a lower loft, it's 11.5 degrees, it gives you the ability to hit it off the tee, get fast club head speeds, to be comparable almost with a regular driver, and also the ability to hit it off the deck as well. It's a versatile, multi-purpose golf club, and we're going to get it on the GC quad. We're going to take a look at some of the numbers. Okay, so first let's take a closer look at the club itself, the TaylorMade 300 mini driver. By way of comparison, here we go. There's a nice little comparison of the respective head sizes for you. This is my TaylorMade Sim. This is the mini driver. So much smaller. That's the first thing that needs to be said. But what I found interesting about this club is that it is a really retro design, but it's got the modern features of a modern driver worked into that design. When you look at it, it's very sleek, it's very old school, very much appeals to those of you who perhaps don't love the newfangled, very sort of adventurous and futuristic designs. You like something simple, you like something a little bit retro, a bit of a throwback, but it's got all the same features. It's got the fixed weight at the back, that moves the center of gravity further back. It's got this speed pocket, which increases ball speeds off the face, and it's got a multi-construction frame, a multi-construction head, which increases club head speed as well. So all of the ingredients that come towards producing your modern driver is featured in this very old school, very retro club head design, which I thought was pretty cool. Okay, so I hit about 7 or 8 shots on the GC quad off the tee with this golf club, and I hit about 7 or 8 off the deck as well, just to get a comparison. How close are the numbers compared to my current driver when I hit it off the tee? And it was a low tee at that. And then off the deck, how comparable is it to my 3-wood? Is it demonstrably better than the 3-wood I've currently got in my bag? Now, full disclosure from me, I don't think I'm the right sort of player type for this golf club. For me, this would really apply to about 3 types of golfer specifically. You've got your sort of Phil Mickelson type right at the top of the tree, very top of the game, a tour pro who would put in a specific club for a specific golf course and be very, very refined and very precise in how he or she structures their bag. Then you've got a good amateur player who I think would prioritize finding fairways over distance and then have the ability to go for more greens in 2 with this kind of a weapon in the bag to be able to hit off the deck. And then the third type of golfer is someone who really struggles with the driver, who's someone who just needs a little bit, a couple of extra degrees of loft. This is 11.5 degrees. It's a little bit easier to hit than a driver. So if you really struggle with the big stick, you might want to come to this and consider this as an option. But let's take a look at the numbers. And I was actually very surprised at how fast the ball speed was off the face of this golf club. Now, this is a standard stock shaft that I used. I haven't been for a fitting, so were I to go for a fitting, I could probably tweak those numbers and get the kind of numbers that I'm looking for in my game. I'm a low spinning player, typically speaking, so this is why a club like this off the deck might not be so suitable for me, but off the tee, 160, 162, 161, an average of 162.8 mile an hour ball speed is very, very good for a club that is not, and let's remember this, it's not a full driver. It's not a 460cc head. It's not a lower lofted driver. It's 11.5 degrees. 162.8 was pretty good, I thought. Backspin is typical for me. I do struggle to get the spin rates up, certainly with the woods, 2,306 as an average. But what I was encouraged by was the carry and the total distance off of this golf club. I hit 1 shot over 300 yards. My average carry was 262 off the tee. My total was 287. And my dispersion was okay as well. I was averaging 3.1 yards left of target. There was a bit of a hook in there, that 4th shot you can see there at the top there. But other than that, pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. And if you move down and take a look at the numbers at the bottom of the screen there, these are my numbers off the deck. And this was the acid test. Could this golf club produce off the deck? Now, what I found was I got a very low flight. It came out like a bullet. The numbers were pretty good. I would look to tweak that if I went for a fitting. I would look to get a slightly higher launch. My launch angle there of averaging 6.1 degrees is not high enough, frankly. I would look to get it higher than that. But still, the ball speeds were pretty encouraging, averaging 158.9 mile an hour off the deck with the GC quad. And in terms of carry, 244 off the deck with a 274 total. Certainly not to be sniffed at, and certainly something that could do a lot of damage on the golf course. So pretty encouraged by those numbers, actually, in all honesty. And if we can click through for a very simple comparison of the shots that I hit off the low tee versus the shots that I hit off the deck here in the simulator, you can see that one at the top. That one's off the tee, slightly faster with the ball speeds, 162.8 versus 158.9. A slightly higher launch, obviously, because it was off that low tee. Backspin, slightly higher with the RPM, 2,306. And I'm pretty happy with those numbers. 287 off the tee with a mini driver. Let's remember, not a typical driver of 460cc, and 274 off the deck. Pretty happy with those. You can see there top right, dispersion quite tight as well. So it was accurate, it was long, and it certainly did the job. Again, I would look to tweak those numbers. I would look to go for a club fitting just to get a different option, maybe with a shaft or a kick point, just to help me launch the ball a little bit higher. So I'm taking it out on the course and I'm seeing the flight a little bit higher than I saw it. They were coming out like low bullets here on the simulator. But it's certainly an option, and it's certainly something that for those of you who really struggle with a low lofted club, for higher handicappers who are not enjoying their driver right now, this is definitely a great option. And I'm not losing too much ball speed because my average with a driver, we'll see that in just a few moments, it's not that much more than the 162.8 I was producing with this club off the tee. Okay, so how does the TaylorMade 300 mini driver compare to one of its current drivers? Now, this is the Sim driver that I got last year, the original Sim that was released in 2020. 460cc head. It's got the injection, the speed injected. It's got the little slot, the movable weight at the back that you won't find in the new model, the Sim 2. But it's essentially the same kind of design, the same idea, the shape in motion technology that you'll find in the current Sim 2 driver that has had some improvements made to it. But I'm getting along very well with this driver. I had it custom fit. It's set up for my specs and my golf swing. And you can see there the numbers below. That's what I'm currently achieving with this TaylorMade Sim driver. An average ball speed of 167.6, a launch angle which is significantly higher than the TaylorMade Mini driver. That being said, this was off a much higher tee than the TaylorMade Mini driver. This is certainly a club that helps if you want to keep it low. If you're playing a links course like they are at the Open Championship, then definitely advantageous to have a club like this in the bag. And this has got a lower spin rate as well, 2,097 for my Sim driver, an average carry of 292, an average total of 314. Those are numbers on the GC quad, incidentally. So certainly it's going further. It's carrying further, as you would expect it to do. It's a much bigger golf club. It's a much lower lofted club. This is 9 degrees. This is 11.5 degrees. This is versatile. This is something that if you're struggling with the driver, if you're really not working that out, then you can definitely come down, go for a fitting, give this a go. Consider this as an option. It might help you in terms of consistency. It might help you get the ball off the tee a little better and find more fairways. And if you are a better player who's looking for something a little bit more versatile, looking for an option off the deck where, you know, you can get sort of, for me personally, shots of going about 270, 275 yards off the deck, that's giving me a significant opportunity to try to go for as many par fives in 2 as possible. So it's definitely something, it's not going to replace this, not in my bag at least, but it's definitely something that you can consider if you fall into one of those 3 categories. If you really struggle with a driver, or if you're looking for something a little bit more versatile at the top end of your bag. The TaylorMade 300 mini driver then, available in 11.5 degrees and 13.5 degrees loft. If you've enjoyed this review, please do subscribe to our channel. We've got loads of great content coming your way very soon.